welcome to the very first episode. Grab your drinks, grab your snacks, grab whatever you want, get comfortable. This is Lessons from the Inside. I'm your host with the most, Carl DeBose. This is my co-host, close to home, Mr. Kendricks Holcombs, and special shout out to the tech, Lex.
I was just jumping the shower.
Have you ever sat and thought about how your emotional state affects the kind of music you listen to?
Yeah.
Cause I noticed that people will think that Uzi's my favorite artist, which I mean, kind of probably top 1 to 2, but not number 1 because
bumping them all the time.
It's because I'm always low key sad though, low key, and which is really obviously not good.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But it also he teaches me a lot about myself. Cause there's that clip that I sent you. She got different color long hair. And it teaches me that I think I like toxic women. I think Uzi's taught me to like toxic women, and that's why I like his music. In addition to the whole sadness piece,
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. But I also feel like hand in hand, it's a vice versa effect too.
You think so?
That the music you listen to also affects your mood as well. So
in reverse.
Yeah. So I know something that a lot of people preach about whenever, especially in the church setting, in the Christianity setting, a lot of times they tell you to turn away from so called secular music. And it's not necessarily that listening to that music is deemed a sin, but it's because you will become a product of what you consume. Yeah. Not just with music, but media as well. So listening to all that. Some of my favorite artists, X, Juice WRLD, Ski Mask, Comethazine, Ramble. Those are great artists. They have amazing songs, but I don't want to be sitting doing some homework and then all of a sudden feel like I got to go hit a drive-by on somebody.
I swear.
Or I got to make a math problem and then subtract some dude's life from the bill or something like that.
Subtracting somebody's life is wild. That's crazy.
You heard Ramble? I don't know how many shots were fired. Oh, more than several.
When people say he talks in Times New Roman, that's fact. You can't argue with that logic because you look at the way he talks and the way that he says certain things. Yeah. And it's that's 100%. If I was typing, that's how Ramble's talking. It's so proper.
It is.
But I do get that because even Lil Wayne. So one of my favorite lines that I'm actually gonna get tatted right here, just for the audience that's watching. You don't have to pay to watch. It's free. You can. It's not an OnlyFans, so you don't have to subscribe to watch.
To watch you get tattooed?
I mean, if they want to. I can make that some content for.
Seriously.
Even Siri wants to be involved, so I'm just saying. But one of my favorite lines that Wayne has is 2 of them. One of them is talent is God given, be grateful. Fame is not a given, be humble, and conceit is self-driven, drive carefully. And I keep that with me because I don't know where life's gonna take me, but I do oftentimes want to be an influencer, and I want to whether it be a famous influencer or whether I just touch the lives of the people that are around me. I want that fame to be given to me by God. And religion's a real weird thing for me, but that's the one constant for me is a higher power, that being God. Yeah. So that's the piece that I keep from that line, and then. Talent, so I'm not a naturally talented person, I'll go play basketball. People look at me, they're like, oh yeah, I want him on my team, he's he's a little bit more muscular. I'm like, dog, you don't want me on your team.
It's not like that.
It's I'm gonna be Shaq when it comes to that shooting. The defense is there, but that offense is trash, garbage. And then that's Lex, the tech. In case y'all were curious. But then the conceit of self-driven, drive carefully. I try not to be conceited, and I do fall short. I think Michelle, y'all can't see Michelle, but I think Michelle would argue that I do fall short sometimes as far as Michelle is my friend from the gym. So the conceited part, she will probably see more than most. Because at the gym you're typically gonna be a little bit more conceited. That's just the nature of the environment. Yeah. But I do try to keep that close to my heart because it's self-driven, blah blah blah, whatever. But the second line that really speaks to me was the God came to my side. This is the one that's getting tatted on me. God came to my side and we talked about it. He sold me another life and he made a profit. That one hits harder because it's like the double entendre with the profit hard, but then you like break it down and you're like, okay, I was gonna die. Like I was gonna end my own life, but God came to me. He was like, no, you're good. Like so, like yeah, it's hard, but like he walking through whatever you're dealing with, and you know, speak that good, that positivity, that love that you have in your heart. So like, I think you're right. I think you're right as far as like the music affecting us and us like choosing what music we affect. I guess if that makes sense.
Yes.
But that's so I agree with you, but
I'm not gonna. That second line hit. That second line hit because you know when people. I don't want to turn this into a religious podcast or anything like that. But when people quote unquote give their life to you know God and Christianity and following that faith, they are one of the things is dying to yourself and being born anew. So like that's one of the big things that comes with that and being affected. Well, you know, listening to that different music is when you're born anew, you walk in a new path, you walk in a different light, different from everybody else around you. So you see things differently and you see just how drastic that this stuff has an effect on people. Because I remember, what was it? Around the time that Dixie came out, the big thing was being sad and depressed. And
almost like a trend.
yes, and that's the thing that made it crazy is like some people were using it as a trend and trying to get clout off of it.
Yeah.
And you still see it nowadays. Like, no offense to people that do this or anything like that, but when you get on TikTok and you see somebody crying on a video, the first thought that shoots through my mind was you really shedded a tear. You're going through it at this moment, and your first thought was, "Let me grab some content."
Yeah, that's insane to me. That is so insane, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm sorry, I was looking around. I lost my water. I'm a little bit pressed about it, but that's insane to me that like people will use mental health as exactly what you said as clout, because one of my biggest struggles in life is mental health, and as is most people, right? Like, because this generation, you know, we're considered soft or you know, like too sensitive, whatever. But when you break it down, it's not that we're too soft or we're too sensitive. It's that we like recognize that we have a voice. And so like, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they didn't necessarily have like Twitter. They didn't have, well, I mean, they had Twitter, they had Facebook and all those things. But like, you were more or less using it just to keep up with whatever was going on, like around the neighborhood. You weren't allowed to just like throw out there, oh yeah, I'm going through this, like whatever. And so like, we in the generation that we're in, right, like we understand each other as, you know, like college students, right, going through this tough time. But I remember my brother-in-law and my dad were talking, and my dad, he's in his mid-50s. He was talking about how our generation is too soft because of the whole 4-day work week thing. Yeah. He's like, why don't you want to work, blah, blah, blah. It's not that we don't want to work. It's that working, like, does mentally take a toll on you. Not because you're having to go out and do something. Like, yeah, that takes a toll, but, like, you got to earn your dollar however, whatever. That's fine. It's the fact that, like, when I had a regular, like, 9-to-5 job, it was a struggle for me because I'm a very family-oriented person. And so, like, me not being able to see at the time, my significant other or my sister or whatever, like, that killed me. And I even had a conversation with my sister about that because she, whenever I was, like, at a very low point in my life, I was like, dang, like, I feel bad.